Well, students, another important term that you, being the students of literature, should understand is the term protagonist. I'm sure that you've been using this term in the context of characters for a long period of time now. As you know, a protagonist is a character who pushes a story forward. The protagonist is just another word for the main character of the story. He or she is also the central force of the story. The word protagonist is derived from the Greek words protos and agonists. And the word protagonist literally translate to the first actor. In other words, protagonist is the combination of the Greek words protos and agonists, which means the first actor. The term protagonist was originally used in the Greek drama to mean the first actor who played the leading role, and it has come to signify the most important character in a drama or story. Of course, there can be more than one protagonist in a play or in any other story. The story circles around these characters' experiences, and the audience is invited to see the world from his or her perspective. So, in other words, a protagonist is the main character of the story. There are different types of protagonists. The first type of protagonist is known as hero. So we know that most of the central characters or main characters are referred to as heroes. These protagonists are referred to as heroes because of their good qualities, and they have the audience's full sympathy. We are on the side of these characters. Of course, certain qualities make us to call that protagonist with the term hero. The hero is morally upstanding, and he or she is usually some kind of leader, a leader of some small group or a big army, etc. In both the ways, a hero is morally right and generally less in need of development than other characters, means this particular character remains the same throughout the story. Another important term which is used to refer to the protagonist is anti-hero. You need to understand that a hero is generally a positive character, a, a character who has got all positive qualities, but we come across a protagonist who is an anti-hero as well. An anti-hero is one who has characteristics completely opposed to those of an ordinary hero. And this may apply to the character's psychology. Means they can be lonely people or mentally ill people. And it can be applied to ethics as well. Means an anti-hero is a hero who does not follow ordinary moral codes. Especially, you must have come across these kind of heroes in Hindi and other Indian movies. Most of them can be described as anti-hero because they do not follow ordinary moral codes of the society. And it may also apply to the character's personality as well. Like personality can be sarcastic, cynical, or ironic. So an anti-hero can be a psychologically disturbed person, mentally ill people, or the person who does not follow moral codes of society, or the character may have certain kind of cynical nature or ironic nature or sarcastic nature. Well, an anti-hero may be in a moral gray area or make us feel uneasy in some way, but such characters are ultimately redeemed. Although they have got all negative qualities and sometimes we may dislike or we may feel uneasy regarding them, but they are still heroes. As I mentioned earlier, in most of the movies you come across these kind of anti-heroes. If you remember the characters played by Amitabh Bachchan in many of his early movie, movies of 70s and 80s, you will realize that he has played the role of anti-hero. He can, for example, Dawn. In Dawn, you come across Amitabh Bachchan in the role of smuggler, a person from the underworld. But yet we are on his side. His anti-hero generally don't follow what we call the ordinary moral ethics, etc. But still we are on their side. The third type of protagonist can be referred to as villain protagonist. Unlike an anti-hero, a villain is never redeemed. Means an anti-hero has got some good qualities and he may come out of his bad qualities, but in case of villain, he's always a bad guy, you can say. But in some cases, the villain is also a protagonist or the main character of the story. For example, the protagonist of American Psycho is the serial killer Patrick Bateman, whose actions are in no way justified by the plot, but still he is the major character of the story. Another of protagonists are referred to as supporting protagonists. Most protagonists are major characters in their own right, whether they are heroes, anti-heroes, or villains, and they are central to all actions that take place in the story. But there can be certain other protagonists who are supporting protagonists. So in many of the movies, you come across these kind of supporting protagonists who are different from the major characters, but still they are in a good role and they play a supporting role. So such kind of characters are referred to as supporting protagonist. So in this manner, we understand the term protagonist in the context of story.